So we're here in Schweinfurt, Germany at SRAM's Drivetrain Development Centre, and today we've had the chance to get out and ride for the first time SRAM's all-new red eTap group set. It's possibly the worst kept secret in cycling that SRAM had an electronic drivetrain on the way, but there is plenty on this that sets it apart from what's already on the market. So we've been out and ridden 900k of nice rolling terrain, lots of ups, lots of downs, a few cobbles, all the sorts of terrain that you'd really want to go out and test the new group set on. So the new red eTap group differs significantly from Shimano's Di2 and Campag's EPS in that, as you can probably tell from looking at the bike, there are no wires. They've been developing and testing this system for 5 years now, and it's only this year that it's seen action in the pro peloton, and it's finally ready to start shipping. We'll start seeing it as original equipment, as in that is on complete bikes from spring next year, and aftermarket will also be late spring when you actually see it in the shops. You know, this is being launched as the new red eTap group set. It's not actually a complete group set. The red brakes are exactly the same as they were before. The chain set is exactly the same as it was before. So to make the change to upgrade to a wireless system, all you would need to get is front and rear mechs and the levers. So the major difference that SRAM have headed for on this one is that they've pretty much thrown out the rule book, whereas both Di2 and EPS emulate basically what the mechanical shifting of their group sets does. SRAM just went from a blank page, so effectively they've designed the system around the benefits of using electronics. Instead of the usual double tap, you know, so you've got one click and then you click through to get another, the new eTap shifters work in a completely different way. If you push the right lever until it clicks, you'll get a downshift. If you push the left lever, you'll get an upshift. It's that simple. If you hold the lever, it will continue to shift the whole block both ways. But then the really neat thing is when you want to shift the front mech, because the front mech only ever moves in one direction, you just click both levers together. And the minute you click both levers together, it will either shift up or it will shift down, depending on where it's sitting at the moment. Obviously that's completely different to anything we've seen before and anything we've tried before. And I was impressed at how intuitive it feels. Within a few K of riding today, it just seemed immediately natural. You know, it's effectively like having this sequential gearbox in a car. You can see that they took their inspiration from high performance racing, you know, from Formula One, you know, with a paddle shift. It's a similar concept. Each mech houses their own battery. They're quite small little items. They plug into the charger, which runs off a USB. They'll be charged in 45 minutes, and there's a claimed 1,000-kilometre range on them. The way that they've achieved this, compared to, say, Di2 or EPS, is that both Di2 and EPS are just live constantly. There's an accelerometer mounted in both mechs, and when you trigger it, it then senses, it wakes up instantly, and then it shifts. That way, they're not wasting excess battery life by just keeping the system on. Inside the lever units, you've got CR2032, like watch batteries, the sort of things you'll find in backup lights, etc. And again, they're claiming a significant runtime for those. So one of the potential pitfalls that most people were speculating about with a wireless system, that was if it was AMP Plus or it was Bluetooth Smart or whichever protocol it would be using, it would be hackable. SRAM were aware of this, so they've employed a team of software researchers, computer scientists, and even hackers to create a protocol of their own.
AREA is our custom protocol that we developed specifically for electronic shifting. We needed high reliability, high speed shifting, low power, and we needed high security. For example, you can only pair one pair of shifters to a system at any given time. So this is going to squash anyone's idea that they're going to pair an extra set of shifters to their buddy's bike and shift their friend's bike on a race as a joke. The system won't allow that.
So in all, I've been really impressed with just how good this new eTap system is. The shifting is incredibly precise. It just becomes really intuitive. It feels normal quite quickly. The downsides are that because of the way it shifts and the precision that it's doing it, it does actually feel slightly slower than a really well set up red mechanical system. It's not slow in that there's a big lag between you pressing the button and whatever. It just seems to be moving the chain cleanly and smoothly. I think on this, the yaw front mech actually works better on this electronic system than it does on the mechanical. You know, I've been out for 3 hours making bad shifts on purpose just to see if I can get that front mech to go out of whack, and it's never created a moment's noise. It's just stayed and ran true throughout. The only reservations I have is that some might find that slightly slower shifting a bit of an issue if you're used to just snapping through, especially when you put in a big sprinting effort. Although you can just hold that lever and it will just keep simultaneously shifting down the block. And then I guess the only other reservation is it's kind of a hindsight thing from what we learned from Di2 and EPS, in that both of their original systems quite soon became superseded by kind of running changes and running improvements. So it was almost like SRAM's rivals brought themselves to market possibly a little bit too early. Now they've perfected their systems, and their systems are both excellent. We can only see Shimano's complete dominance of the peloton with the i2. The reservation I would have about this new wireless system is that in 6 to 8 months, are we going to see an updated one? Are the early adopters going to be punished for jumping on what is quite an impressive setup? And as so far this system is only on the red group sets, so then it's much more kind of pro racing spec at the moment. You are limited to an 1128 block is the maximum that you can go to. And now obviously SRAM were the pioneers of the whole Y-Fly, with a big Y cassette going up to a 32. So we're hoping that they'll apply this technology and we'll see an 1132 system too. So if you take these new wireless levers, they only weigh 260 grams a pair, and that's light in anyone's book. And to buy, you're looking at £205 each or $290 each. So then if you move on to the front mech, that weighs in at 187 grams, which is obviously heavier than a mechanical mech, but it's comparable with both EPS and Di2. And so the front mech's going to cost £265 or $370. The rear mech weighs in at 239 grams, but it's worth remembering that this is the brain of the system. It's the heart of the whole eTap system. So this piece costs significantly more. We're looking at £420 or $590. Then obviously you'd need a charger to keep this system going, even though the batteries are included with both front and rear mechs. But the good news is the charger's only going to set you back 50 quid or $70. And then the final thing is, just like on Di2 with its sprint shifter, SRAM has a very similar system which they call the Blip. These come in packs of 4, they weigh just 6 grams each, and they'll set you back 150 quid or $200. If you fancy using SRAM's new wireless system on a time trial bike, when you've got no need for the actual levers, you can buy something that they're calling the Blip box, which the small satellite Blip button shifters will all port through, and so you can have them out on your extensions, you can have them on your base bar. The Blip box has got a 1/4 turn connector on the back, so you can mount it pretty much anywhere you'd like on the front end of your bike. And the Blip box weighs just 31 grams, and it's going to set you back £250 or $300. So obviously we're really incredibly early on the whole wireless system for SRAM, but SRAM in the past have been very, very good at trickling down their technology onto the lower groups. Hopefully we'll see it on a one-by system, and I've asked the question today, but they wouldn't quite be drawn apart from saying they're working on it, and we may even end up seeing this on mountain bikes. It'd be interesting to see if SRAM can use their wireless protocol system to be able to talk to, your Garmin head unit, to be able to talk to the Quark meter, which obviously they own. Hopefully this is the first step in seeing a lot more integration. Shimano have a similar thing on Di2, providing you buy the adapter kit, then you can see your gearing on your head unit. It would be great for SRAM to apply the same sort of technology to theirs.